This is Andy Rooney, and this is the first 60 Minutes episode. After the Revolutionary War, Americans had a false sense of security. They had won their independence. However, our problems had escalated into much larger concerns, such as a colossal war debt, inflation, and dependence on foreign products. Their future financial success appeared to smell at the end of the 1780s, so George Washington enlisted the help of Alexander Hamilton to solve the economic crisis. Washington believed this could be done with a federal economic policy and by him as Secretary of Treasury. A lot of Alexander's plan was opposed by Jefferson and his Republican followers. Hamilton was a loose constructionist and believed in a broader view of the Constitution. On the contrary, Jefferson was more of a strict constructionist and thought that the only thing explicitly stated in the Constitution should be permitted. This created animosity in the cabinet and eventually led to creating the two political parties we have today. Although Washington attempted to stay neutral, he leans towards Hamilton. This will be difficult since he had quite a bit of work to do as a result of public securities plunging into a small percent of what they were actually worth. These securities were the cost borrowed from the states to finance the revolution, and by that time they were practically worthless. In other words, they had dug a pretty huge hole, and the only man with a plan was Alexander Hamilton.
Now that this bill has passed in both the Senate and the House, I want to hear Hamilton defend his position. But first, Jefferson, please present your opposition.
I consider the foundation of the Constitution as laid on this ground, that all powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states or to the people. To take a single step beyond the boundaries thus specifically drawn around the powers of Congress is to take possession of a boundless field of power, no longer susceptible of any definition. My other major point I present to you is many people have started to speculate where Hamilton's loyalty be, whether it be Britain and rich folk, or his own countrymen. With that, I rest my case.
Well, Mr. Jefferson, as I have also stated my two major points before. First, it is not denied that there are implied as well as expressed powers, and that the former are as effectually delegated as the latter. This supports my position on loose constructionist of the Constitution. Also, my second major statement is to deny the power of the government to add this ingredient to the plan would be to refine away all government. An example, if the government couldn't tax, how would it raise revenue? Through the articles, we saw it as impossible. Thus, this is no different because taxation is a key ingredient and so is the Spank Plan. If you take away that, Mr. President, you take away the national government.
Thank you, gentlemen. I will make my decision soon, probably by February 25th of this year. Cabinet dismissed.
Thank you, Mr. President, for taking this opportunity to speak with me.
Pleasure to be here.
I want to know what you're going to do about the nation's debt problem. I hear that you have a debate in your cabinet.
Well, some of what you're hearing is true. Our nation's debt has spiraled out of control due mainly to our recent revolution, and the fact that the public securities we borrowed from the states to finance it are practically worthless. And this pro you have heard so much about is Alexander Hamilton. Since I have appointed him the Treasury Secretary, it will now be his responsibility to solve the crisis we presently find ourselves in.
If you don't mind, Mr. President, tell us the plan.
From what I have gathered, he has constructed a three-part plan. First, he wants to pay off all the state debts at face value, of course, by selling securities to private investors. Second, he aims to make America mainly self-reliant as far as manufacturing goes. Finally, he has proposed a national bank for...
Wait, Mr. President, did I hear you mention a national bank? Because I did my homework, and I know that it's not expressed in the Constitution.
Well, now you're sounding like one of my close friends, Tom Jefferson. Like you, he believes that since this is not among the enumerated powers, it is unconstitutional. Jefferson thinks that when Hamilton says Congress's power to collect taxes was also power to create a national bank, he must be completely wrong in trying to corrupt the nation.
Well, thank you, Mr. President.
No problem.
Hamilton's debt program was a remarkable success, though by 1811, the bank's charter had run out and was not renewed. By demonstrating Americans' willingness to repay their debts, he made the United States attractive to foreign investors. European investments capital poured into the new nation in large amounts. He also proposed to aid the nation's infant industries. Through high tariffs designed to protect American industry from foreign competition, government subsidized and government-financed transportation improvements, he had hoped to break Britain's manufacturing hold on America. In the end, Hamilton's plan was an astounding success and put America's economy back on track. This is Andy Rooney signing out.